Welcome to the Saturday Night Live Afterparty. This week, we'll be discussing Season 47, Episode 17 of SNL with host Jake Gyllenhaal and musical guest Camila Cabello. I'm Catherine Coleman, and I am joined this week by the irreplaceable Steve Finn. If you'd like to connect with either of us, you can do so at snlpodcast.com. Enjoy these selected highlights from this week's discussion. If you'd like to watch our full-length, ad-free sketch by sketch review, you can find it exclusively at patreon.com/SNL podcast. It's our supporters that make this show possible. We are so thankful to everyone who's already come on board. All right, here we go. Woo! We're here. We're ready to discuss a literally very messy episode of SNL. It was a big night for hoses, sprayers, and stagehands. Steve, how you doing? You excited about it?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I got to say I enjoyed myself with this episode, so it should be a half decent, interesting chat, I think.
Half. We can't promise a fully interesting chat, but we can promise at least a half interesting chat.
And although they made no reference to the beef with Taylor Swift, I have a feeling it's going to come up anyway. But that's
I intend to mention it in every sketch review.
Right. Yes, I'm prepared to listen to lend an ear.
This will be a 4-hour-long episode, mostly about Taylor Swift. So buckle up. Let's get into the show. The cousins have built this woman her dream home with just a few small changes to accommodate her mother-in-law. I loved this. I loved it. I love that it starts out as such a straightforward parody of HGTV. You know, it's like this woman and her milquetoast husband and the hosts are related and think they're witty. And then it's just this curveball of the mother-in-law and her 27-year-old cat. And I thought there were such funny specific details and she thought it'd be better to have the medical equipment for the cat. The cat has a chair lift. Like all of that stuff was great. And then it layered again, the old lady becoming more and more deranged, all the way up to asking her son to hit his wife. Like all of Kate's one-liners were amazing. And I just thought this started in such a good grounded place and then reached such a crazily heightened place. I loved everything about it. Did it hit for you as much as it did for me?
Oh, for sure. And yes, it was, first of all, set up really well as a HGTV show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those little tilts they do up and down and like the music, it was all very spot on. Jake didn't even look like a real person, like the way he was done up. It was really eerie.
Yeah, it looked like he had just the world's worst facelift.
Yeah. But yeah, their cousin dynamic was making me laugh before we even got to the real meat of this. And that's, you know, just seeing the dynamics of a family that's just ruined by a man's, you know, total fear of his mother. Right. And this was, first of all, you know, James Austin Johnson, you know, knocking out of the park with very little. This is very a less is more situation. And I thought his little subtle performance was just brilliant. But that prop that they made for that cat is just amazing. Man. And you know, it reminds me of like when you're making like a film or a short or something, and you get something that you really need for the shoot. And it's like, it's going to be like your centerpiece and you get it and it just rejuvenates your whole passion for the project. I feel like that's what they were feeling when like that cat was finished and that puppet came in. They're like, yes, this is going to be amazing.
This is it. Yeah.
Because like you just look at that thing and you're laughing. You don't even have to put it in a sketch. Just show that. And you're getting solid laughs. But yeah, Kate was amazing in this. Just like all of her old school values coming through. And, you know, the like you said, the elevating uh hostility towards the daughter-in-law. It was
Mm-hmm.
so great. But that's what was great about this is that, it's HGTV trying their best to make a show in spite of like having a family that's just not cut out for
Right.
it.
Like nothing about Heidi was the only member of the family that was prepared for this situation, and then they still screwed even her over.
Well, that's the thing. Like her on her own would be like the perfect person. Like she clearly has a vision for what she wants,
Mhm.
and like just everyone she's let into her life doesn't allow her to have that. It's great.
Okay, so a really big win on this one. Let's talk about the next one. How dare you compare Chucky to Janet, who we all know sucks? What'd you think of this one?
uh, it was amazing. I will say that, and it says a lot of things to me. But I guess let's just talk about the sketch first. Uh, I love the setup of this. I love how they just were, backbiting about Janet. It was all Janet, 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 Janet. Janet sucks. Janet does this. Janet eats tuna. And then there's just a throwaway line about how she's like Chucky right before like you hear the rustling. And of course you're going to think it's Janet.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chucky comes out and it's just like, okay, nobody was expecting this. What the hell? It was like the whole premise was just set up to fool you in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, it just took a turn and then went with it for the rest of the sketch and didn't slow down, which I loved. Uh, this is another well produced sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about it is that Sarah can already command this kind of scale of production with her ideas. Like, me, this is beyond Meatball Men, which, had a
Which
lot of
was already a
animation.
technical masterpiece.
Yeah. But now we have dudes in like full green screen suits, like working puppets. And, uh, we're really going all in on Sarah Sherman's ideas. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that uh, you wouldn't necessarily expect from someone so new. But like, I can't think of something more ambitious than this in a long time.
Yeah, this is definitely a production masterpiece. Like you said, we got men in green screen suits puppeting that we have to key out. We've got the actual doll head that we have to track the motion on to put Sarah's head on it, and then we have to eat all of that stuff. Like that's a lot. And I saw like we know that typically they film on Friday, but I did see like confirmed on Instagram that they did all of it in 24 hours. Uh,
That's
so
insane.
so to and that's like film it and then like edit it. I think like wow, that's like something that should take 2 or 3 weeks to edit, but they do it in a day, and that is incredible.
Yes.
Um, as for, like, the sketch itself, I love that it turned my expectation on its head because, like you said, they're trash talking Janet, and I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna be in the stall. She's gotta be in one of these stalls." The toilet flushes, I'm like, "Okay, here we go." Um, but then it's Chucky, and Chucky is offended at being compared to Janet, and that is so funny. She is so awful that like Chucky, the evil doll, is that's too far. I think that is so, so, so funny. And then they get to the HR meeting and they keep piling on Janet there for a second. So like the boss is like, we know she sucks, and then she's there. I think that's so great. Uh, but then it's sort of I wouldn't say fizzled out, but it tapered off a little bit for me because it became more about what would Chucky do in the workplace and less about this twist of Janet sucking worse than Chucky, which to me was the really smart thing here. Um, so that like I mean that's a really small thing. Like there was plenty of fun to be had here. That initial reveal was just I think kind of hard to overcome because that is so funny for Chucky to walk out.
You know what I love though is when she was in the chair, I say she, but I'm referring to Chucky, who is a he. Uh,
Right.
the way he'd like bounce around while he talked and like the
Mhm.
head was tracking on that, just those movements were hilarious.
Mhm.
I felt like they really worked on that. It's like, how does Chucky act like with what we
Right.
have to use here? Uh, yeah, it was really fun. And
Because it
that,
would have been so easy for him to just sit still, and, like, as the viewer, we wouldn't have been like, "Why is the doll still?" Like, it would have been totally fine, but they said, "It'll be better if he moves."
yeah. Well, whatever I guess it's streamlined now because whatever they had to figure out to do the meatballs on her body,
Mhm.
they now have a pretty good understanding on how to track things.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah,
do it quickly.
that seems to be much easier these days with the programs available. So
Mhm.
yeah,
It
well
still takes a lot of time, though. Like, I've done some stuff where I had to, like, track motion, and the program does a lot of it, but there's still a good bit where it gets a little messy, and then you have to go frame by frame for a little while adjusting things, like, it's very you have to be pretty nitpicky with it.
yeah, you get an assist, but yeah, you're gonna
Mhm.
spend some time fine tuning it.
Yeah. If you want to see our full sketch by sketch review, search for SNL Afterparty on Patreon or subscribestar.com. That's the end of the rundown. Let's talk about these overall thoughts. What's your moment of the night?
You know what I loved was James Austin Johnson's sledgehammer fail. Just the weak little, and then and the fact that he says "ow" afterwards.
Right.
Uh, I sang him praises earlier about that character, and I think that that moment sums up what he was doing very well,
Mhm.
and it was quite hilarious, I must say.
Fair enough. Like I said, this episode was full, just chock full of great moments. So I had a hard time picking moment of the night because there's a few lines that I really love. I love James saying, "I'll crouch," and just so defeated in the delivery of it too.
Yes.
I I just freaking love the line, "Perverts and tuggers want to watch me make my dirt." Like, what?
Nobody
That
wants to
is
watch you, Mom.
that is an insane line. Um, but I think it has to go to Chris Red. Pass. Like, just the pause, the lower to the microphone, pass. Like, I just loved it. That was perfect delivery, and just that was the highlight of that sketch.
Oh man, I love how you could go the complete opposite and have, here you have Chris Red saying pass. He doesn't want to
Mhm.
take a turn. And then in the flower sketch, he's all about when's my turn.
Right?
Comes full circle.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about best sketch. What's yours?
Best sketch. Oh boy. This is really hard. This is really hard. But I think it's got to go to Janet. Not Janet, Chucky.
How dare
Why
you?
why did I reference her? Clearly this is all about Chucky. Sorry, Chucky. Don't come after me. Uh, I don't know. Was it like the best sketch ever? Maybe not, but I just love that SNL is embracing new technologies and
Mhm,
and you know really pushing the frontier of what's possible in a week to
mhm,
bring us this stuff. And you know, just to think of like back when they do like I don't know, they whenever they try to do parodies like that Gilder Radner thing where they try to do like a Fellini short and they spend so much time shooting it and trying to get that style of a filmmaker that'll like there's almost no comedy in it. Like they never even had time to consider that. Uh
mhm,
I just feel like they can do things so fast now that we can get something that's visually, really interesting and impressive in a lot of ways, but still have like a strong dose of comedy in there too.
Mm-hmm.
We're at
Kind of
a
like the last season, the Shining parody that was just like masterfully done, but also very funny.
yeah, yeah. So like form does not compromise content and vice versa
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It's really great to
Yeah.
see. So
Yeah.
I think it deserves it for that reason.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I love to applaud an ambitious production because I like that SNL goes for those, and I can't say enough about how well they pulled that off. Um, as just like for more of like a writing, something that I really liked and something that I really want to like send all my friends. My best sketch has to be Cousins like home makeover show
Okay, yeah.
because,
That's
because
what
I think it is so funny.
I almost picked that.
Yeah, the cat, from the cat puppet to just all of the layers that I mentioned earlier, uh, and then like and I mean that one had some good production stuff too, like the animations and stuff. But yeah, that one to me that was easily the standout of the night as far as like my biggest laughs go. So
Awesome.
that's the one.
That's the one.
Let's talk MVP. Who are you giving it to?
Oh man. I think Chris Red has got to get it. He drops into like almost every sketch and uh just almost outside of everything that's happening, he comes in and brings a whole extra flavor to sketches. That's what I love about
Hmm.
this. Like these sketches were, they were what they were on their own. And then I feel like there was just like an extra element added by Chris, something
Hmm.
extra to laugh at that nobody asked for. But now the sketch is that much better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought about giving it to Ego because Ego was in so much, but I thought Chris made the play. Like the things that he was the best part of so many sketches. Um, he in the cold open he had that moment where he screamed into his glove that was great, and then we had him the pass, which was my moment of the night, and then the flower. Like there was just so much to love and just so many things that Chris was he made it. Without Chris, the sketch wouldn't have been nearly as good. So Chris Red, unanimous MVP.
Woohoo!
Let's talk about the big
MVP
one.
is backwards.
On a scale of classic, great, decent, weak, or train wreck, how would you rate this episode?
Let's give it a decent. Come on. They did a good job, but let's come on. It's not the greatest outing of SNL ever. I do owe it a lot of praise for, some of uh the aspirations that were realized. They shot high for a lot of things production wise. On a comedy basis, this is pretty middle of the road at the end of the day. And I do appreciate the extra work they went through to get those laughs, but
Mhm.
um, they've definitely made me laugh with less. And that's not to say I don't think they should have gone through the efforts they did, because I think that's what saved this show from being weak.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think they cut it with a simple decent episode this week.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it leans towards weak as far as some. I just had a lot of qualms about a lot of the sketches, but it gets a decent because there were moments to love, there were things to love, and my God, the effort they put into making something great for us. Uh, can't say enough. So I think it does get to decent. All right. So a decent episode that was ambitious in its decentness. Put a lot of work into it. It was something. Thanks for being here, Steve. It was nice to see you. It was nice to spend a little time just the two of us again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we totally did that on purpose.
Hmm.
It's not because anyone we asked wasn't available.
No.
We just decided it's just two of us. Let's do it.
Yeah. Said you know what? I miss Steve. I
Yeah.
need a little bit more Steve.
So
just have a little one-on-one time. So yeah, before we go, I do want to say real quick that if anybody's in New York City on Thursday at 8 p.m., I will be in a character show called Jinx at Young Ethel's in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So come on out. I'd love to see you.
I'll try to make it.
All right. Well, that is a wrap. Go to bed. Thanks to Steve Finn, and thanks as well to our most generous patrons, Neil Weinstein, Justin Gardner, Grace Kogan, and Brian Clark. If you're enjoying our show, please subscribe on YouTube or wherever better podcasts can be found. Your subscription helps us grow, and your support is greatly appreciated. We'll be back in 1 week when SNL returns with host and musical guest Lizzo. But until then, this has been episode number 158 of the Saturday Night Live Afterparty podcast. I'm Catherine Coleman. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.